Okay, we gotta we gotta lose the phone
Gotcha.
so
I
that
got
it's online. Okay,
you. Right. Uh-huh.
hold on. So we gotta hang up. My thing is looping. Why? I don't have limited screen. Hey Troy, you look good, man.
Hey, how are you, Gil?
I'm great. I won't complain a bit. It's good to see your face, man.
Good to see you too.
Hey, face. How you doing, man? God bless you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, Earth Angels. Welcome back to another episode of Conversation with. I am your host, Brother Gil, and today's special guest I'm very excited about. We have actor Troy Bland from Georgia here with us to bless us and share in how the healing love of people and life and creativity is working in his life and to share as many of those jewels with us as possible. Troy,
Hey,
welcome, man. How are you?
I am great. I am blessed. I'm excited, man. I am excited because I'm still alive.
Yes, we are. We
Still
both
alive.
are. And
Yes,
you
yes.
just had a birthday not too recently ago, but you now added
Uh,
another year around the sun. It
yeah,
looks
that's
good
right.
on you.
Back in November.
Very comfortable in your maturity.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, that's great. So,
61 years old.
how much?
61.
61. You trying to catch up with me.
Ah,
So, yeah, I'm delighted that you're here. Again, welcome to Conversation with. This program is designed for healing. My event, of course, has been stroke. I'm now in my 6 month and 2.5 weeks. Glory to God of my recovery and my healing. Yeah. So I'm thrilled. And this is a way of my giving back and encouraging others to understand that the healing process covers more than just a tragic, if you will, event. We are
right.
always constantly healing in our communities, in ourselves, in our families. You understand? And so we are opening up, hopefully, this vehicle for many different means of healing. We want to talk about the events of stroke and or glaucoma and or whatever it is, aneurysm, whatever it is, blood pressure, all the things that we're plagued with in our communities. But we also want to open up that window to understanding the essence of what healing truly is just in our lives in general. And so I'm excited to have you here because you have such a plethora of life events and creative ventures in your life, all linked to healing on some level. So would you mind introducing yourself to our audience and just give us a little background of who you are and so that we can kind of be more familiar with Troy Bland.
Thank you. I appreciate you for giving me this opportunity, Gil.
Mhm.
God bless you. And I'm welcome and I'm excited to be here. And I'm excited because of the healing that's going on with you. All right.
Thank you.
So I give God praise for you having the ability to reach out to others and to use your experience to help others. Well, my name is Troy Bland, and I'm originally from New York, from Hollis, Queens, and I am married to Lisa. I have one son and five grandkids. So family is there with me, but a young man that grew up in New York City, in Queens, New York, that love people. That's one thing I want to just stress to you, that number one, I love God and I love people.
Amen.
And I love myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That
So
is key. That is
yes.
key to healing. It is key. I'm so glad you said that. Go on. We'll touch
Yeah.
on that one a little more.
Yes. So a young man I grew up in Queens had a vision, not a vision, but had a dream of becoming an entertainer, an actor. And I started when I was 12 years old, and based on I love Broadway and plays, and that's how you and I got to conversating on Facebook, because
Yes.
we're both entertainers, and you enlightened me about you being back on Times Square in the theater.
Yes.
Well, there was one particular person that really struck me, that enhanced my career, and that was Ben Vereen.
Okay.
Ben
Ha.
Vereen,
Yeah.
yeah, Ben Vereen,
Very me. The
right.
one and only.
The one
Ben
that
Brain. Yes. Yes. Yes.
started in Pippin,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved him in that. And I saw that he's funny. He's the dancer. He's creative, and I loved him in that. And then, of course, him being in TV as Chicken George and Roots.
Yeah.
So he was like, I could just say, my icon that I looked at. And
Okay.
I said, you know
Not
what?
bad.
I love Broadway and I love film.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what enhanced me to become an actor. And then, of course, I love Broadway, love Broadway. And one other particular play, and I say this in every interview, one
Ah,
particular play that I was very fond of was The Wiz, that opened up in 1975, the
mm-hmm.
Majestic Theater. And I
Yes.
followed that. I love that play. And what I did, I changed. I should not say change, but I had my block do our version of The Wiz.
Okay.
And I took that. I became the casting director for my block now, 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Became the casting director, the director, the choreographer, set designer, build the sets, and also
Okay.
played as the Tin Man. So that was my very, very first play.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And
So
so,
you've always been involved in community,
yeah.
which speaks volumes to what you have grown and what you're becoming in 2023.
Yeah.
Now, let's spring forward, because I love that you are creative. Troy is very well-rounded. He's very rich in his creative endeavors, his ability to use the craft. I've seen him grow through several roles, and I'm very excited about what God is getting ready to do with his gifts. But that's one small aspect of this man and the magic and the love that is Troy Bland. I know you, so that then we can tie this immediately to the recovery of events. You also, in your family, your immediate family, have dealt or have been dealing in and around conditions such as stroke. I think it was your cousin or somebody who recently had a
Right.
stroke,
In
and you've
December.
been dealing with her and
Yes.
dealing with that. Can you talk a little bit about her, not necessarily her event, but her condition now, her mindset, how you're using that to spearhead some of the things you're doing in your community?
Yes, I know she wouldn't mind me sharing this to the glory of God.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin who lives in California is actually my second cousin, my mother's first cousin. And she loved the Lord. She walked with the Lord all her life. And
Mm-hmm.
well, I got word from her son, which is my cousin. He had called me and said that his mom had suffered a stroke on Christmas Day.
Mm.
Yeah, and it said to pray for her. So I was reaching out to my prayer partners, including you, and I mentioned
Yes.
to you. And so, but anyway, fast forward, I kept checking in on her through her son, through my cousin, and so thank God, they caught it. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't as bad. But
Mm-hmm.
it did reflect her limbs, her movement. So she is now in rehab.
She's in
But
rehab.
she's in rehab, right? She's in rehab, but she's also home. But I've been getting text messages about her, and
Okay.
even videotapes about her. Her walking a little bit now.
Praise God.
She's
Yeah, yeah,
taking
yeah, yeah.
strides, and she's saying the power of prayer. And my cousin, I was so excited to see that. So that's one thing, even in tragedy or illness, it has to be up here in your mind.
Yes.
It has to be a mindset that if you could have just said, you know what, I give up.
Yes.
I could
Which
have.
happens to a lot of people because
Yes.
they feel, for whatever reason, they feel trapped and or helpless, and that other thing we call the enemy is always whispering things to the mind, and if when you're already challenged, it can be real easy to kind of believe that stuff and surrender. Yes, go on.
And it's
That's very
easier
true.
said than done.
Yes.
But thank God for her mindset. Now, my cousin who lived, her son, my cousin who lived in Georgia, he packed up his things and moved to California to help her out. So
Of
thank God for
course.
the
Yes,
support
yes.
there. And
Absolutely.
her daughter already lives there too. But thank God for the prayers. So she's in that recovery mode.
Mm-hmm.
The speech is coming.
Her speech. So it affected her speech as well as
Yes.
body movement.
Yes, it did.
And she's taking first steps now physically.
Yes.
She's able
Yes,
to
she is.
walk.
He showed me the video. I'm like, oh my God,
Glory
they're
to
walking down
God.
the street. Yeah.
That is magical.
So
Yeah.
so there is hope. There
Yes.
is hope. There is hope. So it's also, like I said, it takes time. You know that. It takes time.
Yes.
And you got to be patient. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not to your own understanding, but all your ways acknowledge him, he shall direct your paths. But I thank God. So I'm praying for those who are going through the same situation nowadays.
Yes.
It's prevalent.
Yeah. Because see, some people, it's a blessing that your cousin has a support system in her children and in her family, like you, and I'm sure your siblings. But there's so many people, which is why I love doing this kind of exchange, so that it's not just a bunch of statistics. We add that, we put that stuff on the site.
Exactly.
The I Am Creation Stroke Survivors Support Group Dallas site, which this is a component of. But I want to hopefully create, by the grace of God, an environment where people can tune in, come in, sit and listen, and or get involve themselves in a conversation, ask questions, and also get information that they could possibly use, be that homeopathic things, informational, statistical information, all of that. But I want the conversation to always be about the power of healing on any level. The power of faith, the power of prayer, the power of community, all those things that I love that you do. So it's wonderful that she has a support system. Many people don't, and that's why many of them go into those darker places that I'm hoping this kind of thing can help remove them from. I encourage them to embrace where they are, because if they're here, God has a purpose for them.
Right.
And
I like
still vital.
And I would like to share something personal about me.
About you?
Yes.
Okay, glory to God. Come on with it. Come on. That's what this conversation is all about.
Right. Talking about healing. Back in 2002, I felt like I was getting sick, and I went to the doctor, and I was diagnosed with prostate cancer and given 6 months to live.
Look at God.
You are looking at a testimony right here, a living testimony. And I'm just going to speed it up, but I went to the doctor, and he told me this. Now, my father had died of cancer, prostate cancer. And so when I was told this, I'm like, I was awestruck. I did not know what to do.
Yes, of course.
But pray. And so let me just tell this. So what happened was I took it to my wife, and I took her to the church. Pray for me. Gil, let me tell you something. I had to get a biopsy done. Now, I believe in the power of prayer.
Yes.
I believe in healing. But my faith was definitely, positively, absolutely, without a shadow of doubt, tested.
Yes.
Then
I can imagine.
I came to church sick, hurting, lost weight, but I still pressed my way to church. And I was weak and everything, but I pressed my way. But when I had to get my biopsy done, and I went back for my results,
yes,
my mother-in-law and my wife was in the waiting room.
Yes.
And the attendant came back, my doctor came back and said, Mr. Bland, I don't know what happened, but we can't find anything.
Glory to God.
We pronounce you cancer-free. It was a miracle.
Yeah.
I didn't have to, I was sick. I didn't have to go through seed implants,
Yes.
through chemotherapy.
Yes.
I didn't have to, when I was sick, I received all kinds of information to help me from my job, from my employers, from my community. People came out to see about me. But that day, when I went to the doctor and he said that you do not have anything, I don't know what happened. It was a miracle of God.
Yes, it was.
So that they was giving me 6 months to live. That was 20 years ago. Going on 21.
That's what I love about. I mean, science is beautiful. He created doctors to help us through things. But that's what I love about God. Whatever your belief systems are, because all are not believers, we know that, and I accept that.
Right.
However, whatever your belief system is, to know that there is someone higher than self is immeasurably powerful.
Amen.
Here's an example that we just heard. I thank God for you, Troy, and I thank God for you sharing that testimony, because people's faith is shaken today. People are so ready to not believe in almost anything except things that gets them what they want, money, things, and that's fine. I can't fault that. That's just another pattern of behavior in the world today. But the simplicity of knowing that there is something higher than me humbles me in a way that I can get Gil's ego system out of the way, if you will, which is, I think, one of man's main issues in today's climate is we've kind of lost touch with humility. Kind of lost touch with that. And how do we get that back without judging other people? You understand? And then creating havoc is through sharing this kind of conversation. And allowing people to take what they can use from it. We're not trying to change their focus. Well, we are, but we're not. we are. I'm not gonna lie. We want to change their focus, but we're not. We're giving them room to make choices, and God gives us all room to make choices. That's why I believe He's given us all our own measure of faith. Right. You understand? So I love that story. Now moving on, because there's so many dimensions to this, man. And
let me just mention
go on.
You can find my story, my testimony in a book on Amazon.
Yes, I have that book, don't I?
Yeah, you do. Thank you.
What is it? Miracles. Something new. I have that book. It's a great read. It's an easy read. Go on, shut up, girl. Stop interrupting.
It's called In the Morning. For those that are listening, it's called In the Morning, and it's by C. Nathaniel Brown. He is the writer. He composed 13 authors 13 different stories in this book called In the Morning, which was published back in 2020.
Do you happen to have a copy nearby you? You happen to have a copy to hold up?
I had it with me, but you know what? I gave it to somebody that came to visit.
What? That's okay. I'll get it. I'll get a copy. I'll get at least the picture and post it when we post it.
It is definitely a book of healing. I'm included in the stories that was published. It's different ones that reaching out to others regarding their personal experiences.
Yes.
Not only that, but it's also some beautiful information.
It's a great read.
Beautiful information to uplift people in the time of the pandemic, in the time of hopelessness, in the time of despair, in the time where healing is needed. So go to Amazon Prime and look for In the Morning.
That's what I was going to have you in with that. Now say that one more time, a little bit slower, because you know some people have to write and so we can go to
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime,
right? And just go into search and look for In the Morning.
In the Morning
by C. Nathaniel Brown.
C. Nathaniel Brown.
Right.
Amazon. Great. Amazon. It's a great read. And I have it. I've packed so many things in here, and I didn't even think to try to get it up before.
Thank you for being a supporter. Thank you for buying my book too.
Man, look. So many people have touched my life and poured into Gilbert since I can remember. So it makes total sense to my spirit for me to do all that I can to give something back. You understand me? So this is very natural for me, very organic for us to just share and want to help someone else find something better, something more, something else, you know? Okay, so now, Troy, you are very active in your church community throughout Georgia. You do all these wonderful things. What are some of the anecdotes, if you would like a better word, that you and your wife, and because his wife is like a missionary in her own right. She is such a spiritually grounded woman of God. They do a lot of things in the community, everything from feeding to clothing drives, whatever is needed. And that to me is as much a part of healing as anything we do physically for our bodies. So you mind sharing some of those activities that you may be currently doing, anything that's coming up in Georgia area that you'd like to share that people can kind of look out for, any of that?
Sure. I first of all, Lisa and I, we are givers.
Yes, they are.
And we not to boast nor to brag or pat ourselves on the back, but to God be the glory. But it's in our heart because the Bible said God loves a cheerful giver. It's not just, it's not just food and clothing and everything, but it's time as well.
Absolutely.
We love to go visit the ones that's in the nursing homes because there are people that
we say the sick and shut in.
Right, the sick. Right. We take time out to go visit the ones that in the nursing homes because we need to reach out to the community. The church is not just the four walls. No, it's beyond that.
Yes. Absolutely.
So we love to give back. And, because there are people, the youth, we have to look out for them as well as the elderly.
Right.
We have, there is an event that's coming up, Father's Day. No, sorry, not Father's Day, but it's for Father's Day on June 8th.
June 8th? Okay.
June 8th at Central City Park or Carolyn Creighton Park in Macon, Georgia. There's another ministry that does this annually, and what they do, they feed the homeless. They provide snacks. They provide huge meals, clothing that's been donated by sponsors. So that day, June 8th on Saturday at 11 o'clock, thank you, Pastor Carol Walker. She's just an instrument. She does this every year. She relies on Lisa and I to come out there and to help.
Yeah.
And we pray for the ones. I mean, Gil, the year before last, no, 2 years ago, we had it, and it started out fine as far as the weather. Mm-hmm. Later on, it poured out. I mean, it was coming down.
Rain, cats, and mules. Oh boy!
But it didn't stop the people.
I know that's right.
They were coming out. We had tents and everything too, but we came out there. We fed them. We gave them the word. We had giveaways, gift cards. People were walking with children walking away, arms filled.
Mm-hmm.
So this year we're doing it again. Lisa's in charge of the food.
Okay, right on.
And I will be speaking to encourage. So we have to look out for the ones that are less fortunate.
Yes.
And it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling, not just to say, yeah, I did something like this, but just to reach out.
It's a satisfying, uplifting feeling that it's hard to describe.
Because folks are hurting.
Yeah.
And they need, you can say you pray for them. Yes, we need to give them prayer, but
yes,
they need to have some food.
They need some food. They need
some cash. They need toiletries.
Exactly. Yeah. I think there's so many of us.
And I'm sorry. And the name of that event is called Act of Kindness.
Act of Kindness.
Yes.
So that's coming June 8th.
June 8th.
In Macon, Georgia. What's the park again?
It's Central City Park, but it's called Carolyn Creighton Park now. But
okay, Carolyn Creighton Park.
It's by Pastor Carol Walker and her international ministries. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. So incidentally, my nieces, Talela and Ashlyn Martin, they have initiated a new cosmetic company called Toulon.
Okay.
Talela and Ashlyn. It's called Toulon. They will be in Atlanta this weekend doing an event. There's a whole big festival. I know you're in Macon, but Atlanta is. Oh, you're going to Atlanta today, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to Atlanta. So
yeah, but my nieces will be there. So say a prayer for them. Toulon Cosmetic is the new company. They're launching not launching, but this is the first outing event of this small, intimate company called Toulon. They'll be at the festival. I forget what it's called. Anyway, I'll post that later. But they will be in Georgia this weekend for this huge festival. It's a big downtown at the park. Food, drinks, the whole line. It's a big festival that's going on. So anyway, but you also do those kinds of things where you're helping. We're moving on with this genius. You, as an actor, going back to your crafts, you are part of a whole new initiated entity of Georgia that is really becoming something dynamic. It's like a whole conglomerate of things that people can come, young actors, young budding actors, young creatives can come and get involved in. Would you mind sharing some of that with us so people are aware of what you're out there doing?
Oh, man. Oh, well, let me just embark and let you know about a project that is coming up a month from today. Mm-hmm. It's called God Guys. And it's if you don't mind me speaking on that.
No, of course not.
This is a very different play. I've done theater for a while.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were very good and the experience was outstanding. But this particular play is personal and it hits home because today we're dealing with a lot of mental illness.
Yes.
We're dealing with a lot of people that are hurting, especially Black men.
Black men.
So this play called God Guys was it was created by C. Nathaniel Brown, known as Chuck. But the writer and director is Nate Stubbs out of Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
Come together.
Nate Stubbs.
Nate Stubbs.
Okay, Nate Stubbs.
And we did this play back in October.
Mhm.
Sold out crowd. Okay. It's very touching. Let me just let you know that this play actually, it's 5 African American men that come together to talk around the kitchen.
Mhm.
And they make it an annual thing. They come and talk. They grew up in a recreation home recreation center when they were young.
Right.
So they come and talk. They having a good time talking in the kitchen. It just takes place in the kitchen. And then each one brings up something that's been bothering them for years.
Mm-hmm.
And so each one displayed some type of emotional distress that was going on. It can be from abandonment to health issues, to mental health issues, to addiction, topics that we don't talk about.
Push under the rug, because
push under the rug. So we did that play back in October. So now we're coming back, and it's matter of fact, one of the main characters is Pops,
mm-hmm.
who's an older gentleman that took in his boys. His foster boys. He took them in when they were young, but they come together and talk about these things that he wasn't aware of.
Right.
And with his wisdom, he explains that you're not alone. Talk about these things. It's okay to go to therapy.
Yes.
Sometimes we hold things in. We're scared to talk about it to families, to your wife, to your husband, to your children, and you need an outside outlet. Pops was that outlet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the original Pops had passed away, Jeffrey Dickerson, which was originally.
I remember you all dealing with that. I remember.
Yes, so we were dealing with that, but before he passed, it was suddenly. But when he did this production, he told Nay, he said, Nay, he thanked her and said, thank you for allowing me to be in this project. It was the most rewarding experience I've ever had. But please continue this production because it helps, it heals. Mm-hmm. Well, he passed, and of course we were dealing with that. But to fulfill his dreams, we're continuing to do this play again, Father's Day weekend. Good. With the new cast. I'm one of the originals coming back.
Yes. So it's a new cast.
The new cast, but the same message.
Right.
The same message. Right. Yeah,
which is so magical because that's the way Christ's story is. The Bible. It's new generations, but the same story. All these years, all these generations later. I don't care how many people have tried to tweak it and make it fit their mode of understanding, which is fine. That's between them and God. But that essence has never changed. So that's powerful. I pray that God anoints, God guides, and that it just catches on fire. That people will want to see it and ask to see it time and time again, because the healing properties of theater is magical anyway. That's why I love it.
And what is this thing, this play, this production is designed for the youth, Black youth, for the elderly, for those that are going through, those that had gone through, and those that know somebody's going through, and even females, the Black female, they need to know why we as Black men don't really come out and talk.
Yeah.
After the show back in October, we had a Q&A session. You just don't know how many people raised their hands, were touched, tears were flowing. Oh my God, because of different ones that are going through the likeness of the production that was presented to them.
That is the magic of theater when it's done well, when it's done right. That's why we do it. That's why we love it. And so Yeah, go on, go on. It's
So we're
magic.
doing this October. I'm sorry, not October. We did it in October. We're doing it in June 17th, 18th at
Where?
Seven Stages Theater
Seven
and
stages here.
Little Five Points area in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. Fabulous.
And
Now, adding an addendum to that, you helped start something else that I think is magical and is healing a lot of creatives that they can come to a place and really discover their artisan. You mind talking a little bit about that?
sure, okay. I'm also part of an organization called Bridge Builders Initiatives.
Bridge Builders
Bridge,
Initiative. I love that.
Bridge Builders Initiatives.
Yeah, man. Okay.
CEO is Quincy Kelly, and Quincy Kelly is a visionary. He believes in giving back,
Yes.
and he's been in management, and he knows theater, he knows
Right.
film. Okay.
Beautiful.
Well, anyway, he reached out to me 2 years ago to become part of Bridge Builders Initiatives, which is a part of giving back to those who wants to pursue in theater or really in film.
In film, right.
Right. And so
Beautiful.
we provide filming for those that will do commercials, to do weddings, banquets. If you need a camera, we're there. That's our model. Okay, but not only that, but we have a studio in Douglas, Georgia, which is in South Georgia, called Bridge Builders Initiative Studios, the home of One Accord Media.
Okay. Now say that again for those of us who are slow.
Yeah, okay.
You know you have to reiterate so everybody gets it.
Right. It's Bridge Builders Initiative Studios, home of One Accord Media.
And that's in Dulles, Georgia?
Douglas, Georgia.
Douglas, Georgia.
Yeah, down south of Georgia. And it's also a studio for those who would like to become actors. Right. We have free sessions. Mm-hmm. And what we do, they fill out an application. They were interested to become knowing how to write, knowing how to do productions, knowing how to act, knowing how to use a camera, and then they write their own format, and then they shoot their own film.
So they become like interns and interim as they're learning. Right. Oh, that's awesome.
So
not only are they gaining a skill set, but the possibilities of becoming, a working artist, so to speak, is the ultimate goal, I assume.
Right. And it is a nonprofit organization. So we do have support from the mayor, different ones, the officials down in Douglas, Georgia. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that's going on. So I'm right now on the pre-production team.
Okay.
And this is something that's magical to me, because this is something we had some changes done at Bridge Builders, and for me to be part of this.
Yes.
We go through the whole process. We have the writer's room. Mm-hmm. We put the writer's room to finish. Then it comes to the pre-production team, which is me and my team. Then it goes to post-production. Mm-hmm. Then it will go to further on down to distribution.
Right.
But it's good to know all these things, and we make it happen. So
yes, how it's done, and the intricacies of editing and all those. Those are the elements. That's the work that we as the patron don't see. We don't see all of that intricate work behind the scene. We see the finished product. And so I love the idea of having young people, particularly young people who are interested, to come in and learn those basic skills from the floor up. The whole appreciation of that changes that actor's or that technician's point of reference. It's a beautiful thing.
And
And it's a healing thing because,
yes,
you know what I mean? It's another level of healing.
and it's a beautiful studio. We have a studio, sound studio there.
Mm-hmm.
We have a cafe that's there to
All
serve
right,
the
because we've got to eat. We have to eat. You know, actors love to eat.
we have a studio there if you want to come and take pictures, you know, do that. If they want to rent the studio, we have all these kind of provisions in that community.
That's
So
beautiful.
it's giving back, and I love it. And this, as a matter of fact, you got my business partner Quincy has huge visions and plans that this is going to be going international as well. So
Beautiful, beautiful. So now I had a question that just ran out of my head. The community that the studio is in, is it an underserved community? Pretty moderate?
It's let me tell you, Quincy, who lived in Atlanta, followed God's guidance.
Right.
Go to Douglas, not Douglasville, but Douglas, Georgia, South Georgia. Go to, it's more of a rural community.
It's rural community.
It's rural, and it doesn't have much of a, I should say, the benefit and the opportunities.
It has more than one stoplight, though, right?
Yeah, I've been there, back and forth. It's a 2-hour drive from where I am.
Right.
So, but he wanted to give back. So that's one thing about it. You got to look, there's people who in a less
populated
area, but they're hungry. They need that chance.
They need it. They're looking for it. Yeah, absolutely.
And we've been open over a year, and so it's flourishing. It's flourishing.
Beautiful. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful choice. So now, tell us what Troy's next feat is. What is God having Troy do next? I know you have some things dealing with the play that are coming forth, which we got to make sure I'm watching the time so that I make sure that we end this well enough and completely enough. But I want people to really get a sense of who Troy is. Because all these things are wonderful, and he's very much involved in all of them. But there is still Troy, that man that I'm looking at. What is Troy's next vision? If you don't mind sharing some of that.
Well, apart from everything else I've discussed too, I'm waiting on God to help me with certain things that I want to do. Timing is everything.
Yes.
For one thing, let's talk about personally here too. I want to try to be more sensitive of my health.
Absolutely.
Be sensitive of my
health. Yes, sir. I'm applauding you because of that. Vitally important.
Yeah. We need to take care of ourselves as much as we can. Now, of course, there are things that we don't have control of, but there are things we do have control of.
Absolutely.
Let me say that again. Some things that we don't have control of.
Some things we don't have control of.
But there are things that we do have control of.
The things that we do. And we must not take those things for granted.
Right.
The things that we do have control of. Go on. This is beautiful.
Yeah, so you have to be mindful. You have to take care of the body. You have to take care of the mind. You have to so when I love to exercise. I want to try to eat better. Okay, I'm trying to do that right. And most of all, what Troy wants to do too is to stay focused, stay clear. Try to not be involved in any negative influences. Things that may do harm to your psyche, to your mental stability. That's one thing. Here, a lot of people having challenges in their mind. So that does not mean I don't have it.
Right. Absolutely. I
got to include me. We talk about everybody else and everything, but look at the man in the mirror.
Yes.
Okay. Let's not be judgmental about people. Let's look
Mhm.
at ourselves.
Right.
So,
It starts there, doesn't it?
right. So
It
I want
really
a
does.
healthy body, as well as a healthy mind, as well as a healthy conversation.
Hmm.
So
And
just
that's very important because see, I don't. We used to be taught, and I keep saying used to because I miss the old folk.
old school. I know.
I miss them because it used to be a part of almost daily conversation uh, about how we use our words, what we're speaking, what's coming out of our mouths. Not so much anymore. There seems to be, and I don't want to judge any of this, but there seems to be no boundaries now in 2023 of what is coming out of people's mouths. I have the First Amendment rights, and so people are just apt to say whatever,
Yeah.
however it comes out. And I often wonder if we ever remembered how we can bring that element back into what we're sharing with each other, that words are powerful things. So we've got to be able to understand what we do when we just spew out whatever the heck we feel. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay to feel things. I trust me, I feel a lot of things. But I've had to, and I'm still learning, and I'm 64 this August, but I'm
God
still
bless you.
unlearning. Thank you, baby. I'm still unlearning the
Yeah.
discipline and the art of controlling words that come out of my mouth. Because we're talking about the body,
Yeah.
but we're talking about the mind and the spirit. Those are very powerful things connected to our words. But people don't, that used to be a part of the training. I wonder if it is now. I'm not sure because, I'm not in that vein. In your opinion, because you have young grandsons, beautiful grandsons, talented grandsons, who you were dealing with all the way through high school. They're in high school now, junior high school.
Well, your junior high, yeah.
Junior high school. So, but now, what were some of the challenges in terms of healing in that vein that you were noticing or have noticed over the times dealing with your grandsons? If you can share some of that.
Well, first of all, kids are kids.
Yes.
Okay? Kids are kids, and they come over Nana and Papa's house, and they were staying with us for a minute, for a while, and but to
Mm-hmm.
see them grow from little boys, okay,
Mm-hmm.
to a 14 and 15-year-old,
Right. Young growing men.
so you're
Young
dealing
boy.
with, yeah, so you're dealing with, the change,
Yes.
the change in the attitude, the change with their peers, the
Mm-hmm.
change of their respect level. Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
And their hormones are
I was just gonna say that, and their hormones, because they're growing, and then we've been there. We've been there.
right. Of
So,
course.
but you got to also realize that I had to be still a support.
Yes.
And you also have to listen to them, not just to continue to fuss. And you do have standards that you want to keep in the home, but sometimes it's good to have quality time.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to me. It's good to have quality time to sit down and talk. I
Yes.
remember back in the day, back in the day, folks, especially among Black people, that we come together at the dinner table, at the breakfast table, put the phones away, put the
Yeah.
tablets away. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. What's on
Right.
your mind?
Right.
Let's share some funny stories.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Y'all were polite. When I was, they would snatch us off the street. Boy, sit down. These are teenagers. We be running around all wild and crazy. They sit down and they'd have a conversation. You know what I mean? So it's like, go on, that's beautiful.
No, but I mean, we did that in our home,
Yeah.
but we need to continue that. I don't know how many are out there that don't do it,
Yeah.
do that. Please practice that, because that's a part of healing as well,
Yeah.
is getting together as family.
Right. 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 Right.
Let's talk about issues. Let's share some good experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Let's share some things that not too good.
Right. Right.
Advice. I remember, I love to get advice from the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, it's interesting because the family dynamic now seemingly in 2023 is so diversified than what it used to be. You got single parent. We've always had single parent homes, but then now it's kind of really prevalent that there's some single mothers raising the children, single fathers, some of them are raising the children. So having that quality time, because parents have to work, the parent has to work. You understand? So usually the older child, like maybe the middle child, becomes responsible for maintaining a structure, a cohesiveness in the family. It's so many layers to our seemingly in today's climate that conversations like this are, I think, vitally important. Do you have any type of anecdotes or any type of takeaways that you'd like to share for people who may not have that family structure that they can sit down at a table per se and have those conversations? How would you suggest, even in a challenged family setting, perhaps, because family, it exceeds blood. Sometimes it's communal, sometimes it's church, sometimes it's just friends, people. And I think that's why so many of us young brothers run to the streets, because they're looking for that nucleus, that family, that place where they can go and know that they're not going to be judged. Everybody's just like me, this and that and the third. How would you, as a creative, as a community leader and advisor, as a pastor, how would you suggest, what would you suggest could be things we could start initiating right where we are in our family structures in different communities to re-spark that kind of exchange where people are sitting with family and talking and listening and trying to find better ways, finding more solutions to the issues that these young people are facing?
I would say to find someone, third party, someone that you can relate to, you can talk to. It could be a friend, it can be a pastor, and just be open and honest, if you may, to discuss not all, but something that you want to say, help in your home. What you get some advice.
Yes.
My point is, what I'm trying to say is, I would either like go to someone and say, listen, this is what's going on, and I need someone to talk to. It could be a pastor, it could be your best friend. I need some advice, or even an elderly person, somebody you can confide in, that will not go back and talk to anybody else, but say, discuss your concerns that's going on in home, and what should I do? Can you provide me, or even get some outside help? Go to a counselor. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you want to seek some professional help, someone you can talk to. Someone may have an addiction in the home. Somebody may have some mental instability going on, and lack of love, lack of forgiveness. Want to talk about it, and you want to bring it back to the table. Try to get some outside source.
Okay. I hear you. That's powerful, because I mean, there are so many layers. It's like an onion. You're peeling away this layer, and
Yeah.
then there's this new layer, and you peel that one away. There's this other layer. It's an interesting phenomenon, I think, Troy. But we also the balancing of that is also very interesting because of the times we're in. It's now I could be wrong, and I'm not going to harp on this, but it seems sometimes that the challenges are greater because society is wanting to teach everyone, first of all, to be fear mongering. There's so many phobias now about almost
Yes.
anything you can think of. Everybody's afraid of this, afraid of that, and so there are these barriers that are already put before us, just existing in America, in major cities, because of what's being projected from so many different angles, right? So we have to fight through that to get back to just having a place where we can come together and talk or listen. And then there's the seemingly this generation, the millennials. Forgive me, millennials. I love y'all, but you're a different breed. You are, and it's wonderful because on one hand, you all are magical.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
there's all of these other nuances that are just you go, really, y'all? Okay,
Really? Yeah.
really? Okay, so and that's that's okay because the world is constantly
Change.
evolving. And
Mhm.
they're the ones who are carrying this thing in the future, really, right? Which is why I believe it's so important for us to try to reel or EEL some of that stuff in so that we can kind of reestablish that thing of, first of all, listening to someone who may be older
Right.
because they have a different experience. Not that they know your experience,
Right.
but they
Right.
have a different experience. So they have a different perspective of maybe how an action can be taken to make that easier, lighter for you. So, but because of how society, I believe, is teaching us to become, no one wants to, I don't know you, you can't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping, Troy, and I hope I'm not hoping this in vain. I'm hoping that there is some way, somehow, that people like you and I, and all those who really care about humanity and what we're evolving, if we evolve, though what the evolution of man, what we're becoming, since for those people who believe in evolution, that's fine. I think evolution has its place in everything, but not, the degree of that is whatever. Uh, I believe God created man. So my evolution of man is a whole other evolution than, the theory of evolution.
Right.
But what we're evolving into has to carry over some of those common sense exchanges that humans do.
Common sense.
So do you have anything that if you could speak to the youths, even to some of the old youths, some of us have gray hair, but we look, what I'm saying? What would you say? And then we're going to wrap this thing up. What would you say to people who are kind of frozen in today's elements of fear mongering? And we're being taught to disbelieve this and don't do that. Don't allow anyone in. What would you say to someone who's really frozen behind all of that phobia of how they might reach out for healing or even reach in to get to a different level of healing in themselves?
Within themselves. You said it just what I was going to say. It got to start within you.
Mm-hmm.
I would say do a heart check,
Mm.
a mind check on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Find out about you.
Yes.
Look in the mirror and just have a conversation with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to yourself and find out the things that you like, things that you want to change, things you want to improve. The thing about it, you got to be honest with yourself. It got to start within you. You want to change the world? You want to change the community? You want to change society? You got to change you.
Yes. And then everything around you changes, doesn't it?
Yes.
That's powerful. I love you, man.
Love you too.
I knew this was going to be just a subtle, easy, loving exchange of brotherhood. And I'm just so thrilled that you were able to take this time with me to have this conversation so that somebody somewhere might be able to gain something that they can use, something that will spark something in their minds, in their hearts, in their spirits to work for, to work on, to challenge the status quo of them.
Right.
You said it. It starts and ends with me.
Mm-hmm.
Contrary to popular belief. Exactly. It starts and ends with me, with us. You feel me? Thank you, Troy, for stopping by. I am so proud of you. Continue to do what you're doing. Now, before we go, let's just reiterate. On the 8th of June,
yes,
the event in the park is
Carolyn Creighton Park, or known as Central City Park in Macon, Georgia.
Okay, and that time is from
11 to 2.
11 to 2.
Okay.
Okay, and then God Guys will be playing where?
God Guys will be on June 17th and 18th. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia at 7 Stages Theater. In the Little 5 Points area.
Okay.
Get your tickets. I'm going to give you that information as well. I'm going to say it slowly.
Okay. Now, and I'm going to make sure that you get that to me so I can literally post it.
There you go.
On the thing. So it's there visually.
Okay.
Go on. And then after that, remind us again of the nonprofit group that you've begun so people can know that that's around and access it. All that information I will get from you and so I can post it.
Right.
Okay. It's called again?
Bridge Builders Initiatives.
I love that. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then so guys, I'm just elated. Troy is a very loving, giving human being. He and his wife. And I'm so thankful for you being here today, Troy, but I know you have to run. So thank you guys for tuning in. Those who are here, those who will be seeing it later, thank you for stopping by and listening and tuning in again to Conversation with my special guest, actor Troy Bland. Thank you, Troy. I am your host, Brother Gil. Thank you all for hanging with us, and we will see you right back here the next time on another episode of Conversation with. Peace and love, y'all. Au revoir.
Peace. Love you too.
Love you, man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Enjoy the rest of the day. Be safe on the road.
I will.
Right? Okay. Thank you, Troy.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right.